Hello everyone, my name is Robert Ris. I'm a Dutch international master, and in this DVD I would like to have a look at the Meran system in the Slav. And before going deeper into the details of what you can expect from this DVD, I'll just give you the first couple of moves so that you get an indication of what I'm talking about. So we get the Slav opening D4, D5, C4, C6, so this is characterized for the Slav system. Now knight to F3, knight to F6, knight C3, and this is a huge point in the Slav. The main Slav variation you reach after the move D takes C4. This is not I'm going to cover in the DVD. We are talking about the so-called semi-Slav, initiated with the move E6, and this is very typical position. A lot of possibilities here. One of them is the move bishop to G5. Another move is the move G3, which I have covered in a 60-minute video. You can find somewhere else on in the ChessBase shop. This is not part of my DVD this time. I'm going to have a look at the consequences of the move E3. And this is a very natural developing move, just protecting the pawn on C4 with the bishop, so that if black captures, you can go and just one move recapturing the pawn. Just a few basic ideas for both sides. So knight to BD7, and this is an interesting moment here. Actually, the semi-Slav really starts. One general consideration here is that white has it looks like a little space advantage, which is very characteristic for this opening, and black looks a little bit passive on the other hand, basically because he has his bishop, light squared bishop on C8 within the pawn chain. If that bishop would have been on, let's say, F5 or G4, he would have had a comfortable position, but that setup was simply impossible to reach via this move order. So with this semi-Slav, what is black about to do? He has reached this position, and he usually waits until white commits himself moving the bishop. And if the bishop moves to D3, you take on C4. Bishop takes C4, and the point is that white has had to waste a tempo with that bishop. So here actually the position starts. Black follows up with the move B5. The bishop goes away to D3, let's say, and now we have an important juncture within the semi-Slav, as black is about to play moves like bishop B7, A6 and C5, activating his light squared bishop. That's the main purpose of black in this opening, and that's what he likes to achieve. But there are a lot of different possibilities here. For example, if you play the move A6 right now, you are already preparing the move C5, as you have protected the pawn on B5. So if you get in the move C5 without worrying about anything else, then it's quite comfortable for black. Let's say E4, and a lot of options here, C5, and now white has to choose between either the move E5, which is one of the main lines which has been popularized amongst others in the match Kramnik against Anand in the World Championship match, and a lot of sharp complications are ensuing. And what you see is that black indeed managed to activate his bishop later on, very soon, but on the other hand his king is often stuck in the center, which leads to usually to very massive complications, and that's what both sides are looking for in this particular system. Another option, of course, is the more traditional continuation, the move D5, trying to get a nice pawn on D5, ruling the bishop out on B7, which is likely to end up there. But it leads to very double-edged play as well, as the pawns on the C and D file have passed each other already. So that means black has a majority on the queen side, a nice trump in any endgame, white has an advantage in the center thanks to his extra pawn, some space advantage, leads to very complicated play as well. Returning to the position after bishop d3, another option of course is the move bishop to b7. And now the point is that white will most likely follow up with a move like e4, and you have to be really careful not allowing white to play the move e5 very quickly, as if you make a random move like h6, just to point out the idea, you end up with a very bad structure, leaving the bishop very stupid on that square. So black usually proceeds with the move b4, and if the knight moves, black plays the move c5, and he has indeed again succeeded in activating the bishop, but still there are a lot of other aspects which are counting in the position, and white will try to play for an initiative in the center, attacking the knight, and often he will try to play for a kingside attack, making use of his space advantage. So this is just a very small introduction of how the main lines are going. Of course there are more nuances, more move orders here in this position, but what you see is that black is just about trying to solve the problem of his light squared bishop, but often he needs to pay a price for that, and his king is stuck in the center. So both sides are playing for their own trumps, and that leads to very sharp double-edged play. Then we are coming to the purpose of this DVD, as so far I've been talking about some theoretical introduction, but I think that it's also important not to only to learn the moves by heart, but just try to understand what you're doing. So in this DVD I have decided to show you a lot of examples and games where both sides are displaying their tactical options, and you will see that it's a very popular opening. It has been played by white by many strong players like Capablanca, Botvinnik, Kasparov and Karpov, so 4 famous former world champions. But with black we have also another couple of strong players having used it, like Kasparov himself, Kramnik, his former pupil, and Topalov. Nowadays, even in the mid-90s already, big specialists who also joined the black side of this opening were Shirov and Anand, and still on this day they are producing new masterpieces in this field. So all in all you can expect a lot of tactical exercises. I've selected 27 games, and in each of these examples you will get questions where you can use the question and answer format, trying to find the right continuation. And of course there's always one solution, but even if you have found the solution right away, I would recommend you to have a look at the alternatives, as I usually give a lot of information, some strategical information as well, which usually counts in this opening too. The games have been decided not in random order, not particular by any lines, but in chronological order, just to give you the developments of these lines along the way as well, referring to some older games too. So why I'm the author of this DVD? That's a good question. I used to play the Meran with black myself for quite some years. I had some reasonable successes, managed to defeat quite some strong grandmasters along the way. But the last couple of years I've been refraining from employing it myself, basically because there's a huge amount of theory involved. However, I was kind of attracted by a lot of fascinating games in this line, the tactical possibilities for both sides, and what I want to encourage you in this DVD is that I don't really think the theoretical importance it's important to know, but I think it's even more important to be aware of the tactical possibilities, the strategical futures, and by studying these examples, I really believe it will help you understanding and learning the theory later on. And as I said, in this DVD, no any theoretical overview, but for that you have other sources. But the purpose of this DVD is just to make you more feel acquainted with the ensuing positions in this opening. I think I have said enough so far. I hope you really enjoy this DVD. A lot of spectacular lines are coming up. You can test your skills even if you're not intending to play the opening yourself. I really believe it gives you a boost to your tactical abilities too. So have a lot of fun, and let's go to the first example of the DVD. Enjoy it, and hope to see you around.